What was the incident at your school? Story 1. A ceiling tile fell on a student. Two students were found having sex in the girls' bathroom and they were both dating other people. In 9th grade, we spent 45 minutes in world geography class watching our teacher, who was also the baseball coach, chase a cow off the baseball field. 10th grade English teacher Mrs. White forgot the intruder alert drill was just a drill and freaked out and farted quite loudly trying to make a barricade out of desks. No one told her it wasn't real until the two. Better out than in, right? Story 2. Our all-boys private school used to have a yearly dance with an all-girls private school just a few blocks away. I say used to, because they canceled it after it was revealed that a bunch of girls were giving head to the boys corral style in circles on the dance floor. Is that like some new TikTok dance that I'm just too old to understand? Story 3. Okay, so this one's a little dark, but anyway. This happened when I was in year 5. I don't know what grade this would be in America, but for reference I would have been like 11. I remember coming to school and everyone was quiet. I asked what was happening, but nobody would tell me. Eventually, one girl in my class let me know. Basically, this teacher who was teaching year 4 at the time was caught trying to meet up with a 14-year-old girl for sex. They had talked online for like a month, and during this time she repeatedly said she was 14. He also said some pretty effed up stuff like there's something innocent and fresh about them in regards to young girls. And baby, I just want to hold you and feel your lips on mine. It turned out to be a police sting operation and he was arrested and given a 2-year sentence. Fun fact, for our Easter parades, he was the one dressed up as the Easter Bunny who would give out Easter eggs. There was no more teachers dressed as Easter Bunnies at our parades after him. To be honest, I'm most shocked that he only got a 2-year sentence. Story 4. A friend's little brother, freshman, stood up in class and killed himself. He had taken the gun from his oldest brother. Their parents had no idea that there was a gun in their home. He had written a note to a girl saying he was going to do this. She went to her parents with it, they took it to the school. The school did nothing. That is so incredibly sad. How did the school do nothing after seeing the note? Story 5. At my primary school, a child in nursery, maybe reception, died of a brain tumor. The school and friends of the family had raised more than £200,000 for an experimental surgery in America. Now there's a small garden named after her in her memorial. Rest in peace, Amelia. On a lighter note, a bunch of kids got roasted by our deputy head in year 10 for offensive memes. During this, some kids' search history got shown to the entire school. Among it were lesbian abuse corn and girl tied up and fingered to death. The whiplash I got from hearing about Amelia and then going to the offensive memes is crazy. Story 6. Nothing really happens in my school, but one time, one of my best friends drowned going down a river saving a girl's life after she was drowning because she had a bad leg. School then, after a half a year, took down his memorial we have in the hallway in the trophy area, and everyone, and I mean everyone, was pissed the F off. He was a legend and loved by everyone. I really hope they put that hero's memorial back up. Story 7. For a senior prank, a group of guys somehow snuck into the school cafeteria during off hours and put pieces of dead deer above the ceiling tiles without anyone catching them. A few days later, students and staff started complaining about an awful smell. It took a few more days before anyone figured to look in the ceiling. I don't know if I'm disgusted or more impressed that they pulled that off. Story 8. An explosion. We had an auto shop class to learn about basic work they do on cars and shops. For the final project, they were going to be tasked with making barbecues out of peppermint oil drums. One day, the teacher was not there and they had a substitute. One kid who was ahead of everyone decided it would be a good idea to get a head start on his project, although the teacher had not fully cleaned out the drums and was not there to tell him that. He started cutting into the drum and it exploded in his face. He ended up dying later that night. We all got evacuated from the school while not quite sure what had happened. I thought there was some sickness spreading or something because there were hazmat and paramedics everywhere. Sad and scary day for everyone at my school, and the teacher ended up developing severe depression. Rumored he became suicidal also, and eventually quit. Wow, I cannot even imagine what he's going through. Story 9. This thread is too dark. Here's my addition. A few kids were having a farting contest in high school, and one of them shit himself. There was the guy that effed a goat my senior year. Don't have any other details, but do you really want to know the details around a guy effing a goat? Yeah, those are definitely details I do not want to know about. Story 10. Someone clogged the toilet by shitting a brick so wide and solid that it filled the circumference of the toilet hole. Like, it was as wide as a Boston cream donut and a pure solid. The bloody anus culprit was never found. And guess who's never having a Boston cream donut again? Story 11. Teacher was found getting sexual favors from a 9th grade girl who was held back like 3 times. I went to a school for people with ADHD, autism, and other more severe learning disabilities. A year or so later, another girl claiming sexual abuse from a teacher who didn't actually do anything. She was just mad because he wouldn't let her keep disrupting class. He got fired and can't teach anywhere. But hey, way to effing go, Skylar. This guy was like 60-something and his whole life was devoted to helping kids. She bragged about it being fake and getting him fired. Everyone told her she was a huge piece of shit. Edit. Her name isn't actually Skylar, obviously. But still, guys, this happened like 7 years ago. Maybe cool it with the death wishes. She definitely deserves whatever karma comes her way, but death wishes are definitely way too far. Story 12. This made national news in 93/94. My freshman year of high school, a pretty unpopular girl got pregnant by her boyfriend. The boyfriend denied it was his and wouldn't have anything to do with her. She told her mother and the mother flipped out and kicked her out of the house and she committed suicide. The Spanish language channel was doing a graveside interview with the father on live TV. During the interview, the mother showed up to the grave. That's when the father walked to his car, grabbed his gun, and shot and killed her on live TV. The father ran, but was caught trying to get to Mexico, I believe. Going to school was really sad and weird for a while after that. I didn't know her well, but we shared most of our classes together. And that desk that stayed empty for the rest of the year was a constant reminder. Wow, I don't even know what to say for that one. Story 13. It was my junior-senior years. Between my high school and our rival South School, there were 11 to 13 deaths of students, primarily suicides, including suicide by cop, pretending to hold a gun to get shot, and by car wreck. Kids stole a car and crashed it into another car / died on impact. There was a series of 3 within 1 week. Everyone at the school was really depressed. Students were constantly missing, had to bring in extra social workers and therapists, and teachers basically were powerless to control the student body. It got really lax on schoolwork. The school brought in the survivor who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and we canceled school for the day to go to the assembly and listen to him speak. Kids just sat in the auditorium and cried and just ditched class. I heard it's gotten a lot better, but no one from my graduating class talks about it anymore. I'm really glad to hear that it's gotten better, but wow, that sounds terrible. Story 14. 1980s in an Australian high school in a country town. Teachers having affairs with teachers and their partners finding out. One partner / husband chased a teacher that was having an affair with his wife around the school and punched him. Male teacher having affairs with multiple female teachers at the same time and them finding out. Not bad for a school of about 500 students. Who needed drama on TV? We could watch it at school. Wow, they had their own little personal soap opera, didn't they? Story 15. Murder-suicide happened in the middle of the street, mid-morning just a block away from the school. 2 brothers, grown men, one borrowed money from the other and couldn't pay it back. The very next week, someone called the cops about a gang of armed militants marching on the school, and everything was locked down for hours. Some little old lady saw the JROTC team doing their parade drills in their usual spot at the usual time with their wooden rifles. I wonder if that old lady was actually concerned or if that was more of like a Karen moment. Story 16. My last year in high school, a school whom everyone liked died in a car crash because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. It broke the heart of a lot of people. The day after it happened, everyone showed up to school wearing blue in remembrance of her. It even started a hashtag called #4NameOfGirl. Everyone on social media was posting about her, how much they missed her, etc. It was truly a sad occurrence, and everyone seemed to be grieving. Obviously, there were people who capitalized on her death for attention, exposure, that sort of thing. Posting selfies with the hashtag, SoundCloud rappers using her name in songs to gain exposure. That same year, a close friend of mine attempted to overdose in the school bathroom. He was the type of kid people made fun of because he was quiet and seemed like a school shooter. There was no hashtag for him. Edit, this was in Arizona. Friend is still alive. That was a really sad story. I'm really happy that that friend is alive though. Story 17. Student had sex with a teacher, got caught and posted all of the female teacher's nudes online. Had a couple senior pranks that made the news. Was that teacher thing part of the senior pranks? Story 18. Someone microwaved a cat and left it in their locker. After a couple days, the stank was so overwhelming that everyone in the hall opened their lockers. Ended up with 10 drug arrests and one smelly-ass cat. That poor cat, why the hell are you microwaving a cat? Story 19. A spicy tape was discovered between 3 students. Maybe one was filming? Don't remember the breakdown. The guy came in the girl's eye and she was known as Cyclops throughout the rest of high school. Not sure how people saw this tape because it was like 2004 before smartphones, so it must have been like a physical tape. Story 20. Bed bugs infested the school. The school didn't notify students or parents till a week after it was discovered. Almost 100 students brought them back to their home. The county ended up paying for the cleaning of all the students' homes, and finally everyone figured out which student initially brought the bugs to the school. Poor bed bugs Bernie. Well, as the saying goes, I guess Bernie didn't sleep tight. That was terrible. Story 21. The fork incident. My freshman year, 2 red-wearing gangster kids got into a fight for some reason that nobody remembered or cared to even remember. And then the 2 started a legitimate fist fight. The fight escalated within seconds, and the other kid stabbed the other kid with a fork. For some reason, all the kids for the rest of my high school years remember the incident. If a kid was gonna get in a fight, some kid would inevitably say to bring a fork or give a kid a fork as a joke. I mean, I would remember that too. I don't think seeing a kid get stabbed with a fork in your school would be that easy to forget. Story 22. Police shootouts in the surrounding neighborhood. It wasn't uncommon to find bullet marks on the outer walls of the building. I miss Puerto Rico. You know, I've never been to Puerto Rico, but it sounds like a cool place. Story 23. Female teacher gets drunk and has sex with a student on a spring break trip to Spain. When we get back, they don't fire her. She spends the next 6 weeks getting drunk and tries to make a run at several of us, me included. She was not invited to return the following year. Well, I would hope she wasn't invited. How did they not fire her? Story 24. Easily happened when I was a senior. This longtime couple, cutest thing ever, but she ended up cheating on him in a threesome, and the sex tape was released to school. She was dumped, spiraled into depression, attempted to off herself via train. She lost an arm, her legs, but managed to survive. I don't remember much after that. It was wild. Yeah, that sounds pretty wild. Jeez. I hope she's doing better. Story 25. The year was 2005. During lunch, someone supposedly took a dump and broke the toilet in half. Principal, along with 20 teachers, brought all the guys into the gym and showed us slides of the turd and the toilet bowl split in half. The entire gym was laughing so hard while the teachers tried to get us to settle down. Nobody ever confessed to the crime. That must have been some turd to break a whole toilet. Story 26. During the school day, somebody set fire to the toilet paper rolls in the men's bathroom. For some reason though, the school was put into lockdown instead of being evacuated. I guess it was because the fire was relatively small and was put out fairly quickly. But it did send my social studies teacher to the hospital since he got hit by a stall door trying to put the blaze out. I really hope that teacher recovered quickly. Story 27. A guy killed himself. He jumped in front of a train. He was apparently bullied, and he might have been gay. He was 15 years old. I knew something was up when I was walking from one school building to the other. When a few janitors came together and talked about an incident with the train, which wasn't far away from school, I knew it had something to do with one of the kids, and unfortunately, it was true. I still think about it every time I drive past the spot where he killed himself. It's been 11 years now. I have nothing to say. Bullying really needs to stop. Story 28. 2016 was the year known for a lot of celebrity deaths, right? Well, that spilled over to my school. 2016 was the year when a friend's mom died due to health complications. A friend's dad died. No one knows what happened. My dad died. A kid my entire class knew got cancer. A kid's entire family died at a freak accident. And a teacher's mom dies. This all happened within a 3-month period. We couldn't stop going to funerals as a class. It felt like every weekend something horrible happened. Geez, I thought my 2016 was rough. Story 29. Had a couple in junior high. One douchebag kid who was always acting like an ass got beat to a bloody pulp for asking quiet weird kid, "Why'd your mom kill your dad and not you?" 2. During a movie, kid in the back of the class whipped down his dick and started jerking. Girl sitting next to him saw it and told the teacher. He never lived it down. 3. Transfer student, freshman bully, scary looking, probably 6'5", 220, picked a fight with a kid half his size, but who knew how to fight. Tall bully promptly got his ass beat down. Gotta love when the smaller kid takes down the bully. Story 30. Senior prank when I was a freshman. A group of 10 seniors broke into the school at night, removed the ceiling tiles in the library, and covered a lot of the door handles in peanut butter. There was also apparently a camcorder and some money that was stolen. Anyway, school got shut down for a day so they could clean it all up. We were all the way up in Maine, and the incident was reported on as far away as in Florida. Apparently the kids made a huge mess of the library tiles, and a ton of them were broken or unusable. The peanut butter was spun as a deliberate attempt to trigger allergy attacks, although I'm pretty sure this was nonsense. The town billed it as a case of vandalism. In retrospect, it was just a prank that got really out of hand, and one jerk used it as an opportunity to score a camcorder. That is a terrible prank. What a waste of good peanut butter. Story 31. There was this guy, F for privacy, who had just transferred from another high school. He wore weird clothes, and a lot of people joked that he was going to be the next school shooter. I personally didn't pay much attention and felt that he was a pretty chill dude, just a bit odd. One day he was asked to make a report for class. I forgot the topic and I wasn't in the class. He decided to make a PowerPoint about the Second Amendment. Apparently, he specifically asked the teacher if he could do this, and the teacher gave the okay. He made the PowerPoint and accidentally left the flash drive that held it in a school computer. Some teachers found it and reported it. F tried to explain that he was given permission to do it, but the teacher straight up denied it. In the end, the school suspended F and said that they would only accept him back if he went through a mental evaluation test. F was fed up and just dropped high school to go get his GED. Too long, didn't read. Guy made a PowerPoint about the Second Amendment. Got suspended for fear of being a school shooter. That teacher did F dirty. I would have dropped out too. Story 32. Almost a year ago, early in the morning, a kid was found hanging in a stairwell. It was all anyone could talk about all day, and everyone was pissed that the teachers didn't do anything to help us cope with the trauma. He survived though. I am so happy to hear that he survived. I hope he got the help he needs. Story 33. When I was in high school, my friend dropped dead a couple months before graduation. He was talking to his girlfriend on the phone, and she heard a thump and he was just dead. His little sister found him before the girlfriend could make it to the house. No reason found on autopsy either. He just died. That is really scary. I keep hearing more and more stories of people just dropping dead. Story 34. In grade 5, the teacher was reading the Diary of Anne Frank to the class, and we were all on carpet listening intently. Things were serious as she explained to us that they were about to get caught. Out of nowhere, Paul releases an unstoppable 7-second fart into the middle of a group. It was one of those farts where it's obvious he'd been holding it for a while the pressure built. Meanwhile, his sitting on the floor created an exemplary embouchure that trumpeted poor Paul's misfortune throughout the room. It stunk too. We laughed, he cried. We all got a talking to. God, poor Paul. I know what he's going through. Story 35. True story. I went to a high school that's shaped like a swastika. I think if you Wikipedia it, Burnco Senior High, it has a whole page about it, lol. If that wasn't bad enough, we had 3 different cafeterias, the B Cafe, the C Cafe, and the D Cafe. And which one you ate in basically depended on your race. B Cafe was all the black kids, C Cafe was all the white kids, and the D Cafe was all the Hispanics. The Hispanics and the blacks got into this huge race war one year, and one morning we had a legit riot. Over the speakers they announced Code Red, and the teachers ran to lock all the doors, and kids in the hallways were thrown into random rooms. The school was on lockdown for 6 hours. The kids were all fighting each other, and eventually the teachers tried to stop them, which turned into the kids throwing teachers over desks and fighting them too. We had something like 25-30 cop cars show up, and they arrested a bunch of kids. The students made a bunch of t-shirts that said, "I survived Code Red 06. The shirts were not allowed. Pretty terrifying at the time, especially because at first no one knew what was really going on. Luckily, no one got really hurt. I can only imagine the fear of being in lockdown these days. Good times. Geez, I guess that's what happens when a school is shaped like a swastika. Story 36. Sophomore who was super athletic and in good shape, varsity football plus tennis, was playing tennis one day and went into a sudden cardiac arrest. He died just like that. It's a strange feeling knowing he was there in class with you one day, and the next he's completely gone. Jeez, another story of someone just suddenly dying. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more videos to come, or else this spider will be in your bed tonight.